Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
So recently we kicked off one of our biggest projects ever. Of course, it's Fresh Jobs. It's an online portal providing young people with access to information they need to gain and retain employment, including career guidance, advice from industry expertise, and resume templates.
So today we are chatting to Christopher Saracini from the CMAX Business Development Team. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thanks.
Can you please tell us a bit about CMAX and what they do?
Yeah, so CMAX is a phase 1 clinical trial unit. So primarily we focus on first-in-human phase 1 drug trials. So this is, molecules that have already gone through all the checks and balances, and now we're going to basically, test the safety and efficacy in people.
Yeah,
amazing.
Awesome. So CMAX are known for doing clinical drug trials. What significant medical breakthroughs have CMAX been a part of?
Yeah, so look, when I started, we had a student, a placement student who was there, and one of the tasks that we gave her was, do you think you can just have a look at, trials that we've done and how many of those compounds have actually gone and become medicines on the market? And actually quite amazing. So there's some rheumatoid arthritis treatments, urinary tract infection treatments. There's even some well-known cold and flu medicine that has gone through, and a stack of vaccines and various other medicines.
Yeah,
so
it's really amazing work you're doing.
That's so interesting. It's such an intricate field. So I want to ask, Chris, how did you get into it? And can you tell us a bit about your role?
How did I get into it? I wish I knew, actually. I did a medical science degree at uni. So prior, I guess my first sort of career was I was working as a medical scientist in a diagnostic pathology lab. So I did that for a few years. But I'd also done a bunch of sort of sales jobs when I was at uni and other things. And I guess I was actually teaching English overseas for a couple of years, which is maybe a little bit different. And when I got back to Australia, sort of in the middle of COVID, so that was fun getting back. Yeah. I was actually in China when that all started as well.
Gosh.
So that was
not ideal.
That was a unique experience. And I started working in sales for research equipment, and that was interesting. But yeah, from that I was able to sort of pivot towards business development at CMAX. So we're the team sort of on the front end looking at, well, what's the next thing we're going to do, and really trying to engage with those sponsors like the biotech, the pharmaceutical companies, and really just trying to see is what you do something that we can actually, is your compound something that we can actually test at our unit? Is it in the best interests of our participants? Are we the best fit for you as well? And really just trying to basically win those studies.
So I'm sure there's lots of interesting aspects about your job, but what's the best part about your job?
For me, what I really, really enjoy is, I guess, just the brainstorming. We get so many protocols for studies that come in from the sponsors, and just trying to say, well, I mean, can we do this? And if so, how are we going to do this? What special requirements will there be? Do we have to get equipment from other companies? How much is that going to cost? Is this something that we can accommodate in our unit? And also, things like, how can we, I guess, raise our profile in other markets where we don't really have much of a presence? How can we appeal to those companies as well? And also sometimes the trials, they require very specific populations of people, like maybe they might have a certain illness, and so it's a question of, well, can we even find those people, and if so, how? So I really love just all that sort of brainstorming and problem solving.
I'm also curious. So what are some of the things people do to pass the time while they're engaging in the study, and they're sitting there on the bed and whatnot? Is it just reading books, watching movies? What do people usually do?
All of the above. So yeah, often when I go through the unit, I see people playing hardcore video games, just on their laptops on the bed, or I suppose doing their homework or reading or watching Netflix or any of the other television services, movies. We do have a rec room, so people are playing board games, watching TV. Actually, my first time in that room was as a participant. So I was there I did a trial where I was there for 10 days. And so, I mean, that was actually pretty fun. Most people, tend to get along. It's a fairly positive environment. I guess it's actually quite relaxing, and the food's pretty good, to be honest. Like when I was there,
that was my follow-up question.
Everybody was super keen on lasagna night, which I think is once.
Sounds
I think that's
great.
actually the first.
And
the
you get
first
paid.
dinner, yeah. When you check in, it's like the first dinner is usually lasagna. So there's another incentive.
These two are so excited. They're like rubbing their mitts together, like, let's go.
Yeah, there seems to be no cons at all. You get paid, you get free lasagna,
Yeah,
you get
absolutely.
a rec room. It sounds amazing. So, Chris, what are some of the current employment opportunities and what are the different roles available at CMAX?
Well, look, roles don't often come up on the BD team, business development team. So, I guess the last one who joined was me about a year ago. But currently, we're actually looking for someone on the BD team to be like a sort of an admin assistant. So it is a maternity leave role. That's I think a 1 year contract. But look, in all honesty, at CMAX, what I've noticed is that most people do move sideways. So they often join a role on like this team, like the guys who get on the phone with the participants or reception or nursing or whatever it is, and then after a year or two they sometimes move to a different role on a different team. And we've got one lady who's been at CMAX for I'm not even sure, maybe 25 years, and she's done pretty much every single role that there is.
Yeah, wow.
Could you also explain the benefits of working at CMAX, speaking of the employment sector?
Okay, so look, some of the benefits that I have found for me personally is, look, as I mentioned before, I have done a lot of different jobs, but for me, this is like the first job that has really ticked my sort of top 3 boxes in the sense that, I find that the work is actually interesting and it does, I guess, utilize my talents, sufficiently. It is a great team to be a part of, and it is a very positive environment that does value the contribution of individuals. I feel like what we do actually matters. And I've got a very, very quick example. There's a study that we're recruiting for at the moment, and this is the compound is a treatment for acute respiratory distress syndrome. So this is like something that happens quite suddenly. It's often brought on by things like respiratory diseases like pneumonia or even COVID-19, and even injuries like, say, bomb blasts, for example. And so people actually end up getting fluid filling up their lungs, and they are deprived of oxygen. And the company that has brought this to us is it is a startup company, and the CEO is an intensive care doctor. And this is, for him, this is like personal. This is basically just trying to save his patients. So it's really great to be a part of, playing a small part in helping them get through the process and, and actually save lives.
Yeah, that is amazing. It would be incredible to be around that sort of environment as well.
Yeah.
For sure.
Fresh 92.7 presents Resumaybe, kickstarting your career with fresh jobs.
Alright, so Chris, basically the way this game works is that you're going to read out a skill that you have in front of you,
Okay.
and only one of us have this skill. The other two will be 2 lying rats. And you just have to pick which one of us is telling the truth and which one of us actually possess this skill. You're allowed to ask us one follow-up question each, and then at the end you'll pick who the person telling the truth is and show the rats in the room.
Oh, okay, all right.
So what is the skill today?
All right, so the skill that I have in front of me is one of us can hold 4 loaded plates at once.
Okay.
All right.
Who wants to
go
start?
first?
Cool, yeah, I'll go first. So this is going to sound absurd, and it does definitely sound like I'm the rat, but I need you to believe me on this one. I pretty much, and it wasn't really like a proper job, but it was just like cash in hand kind of thing. But I had a friend that was doing like ski shooting, like trying to be a ski shooter, so like shooting the plates in the sky.
Oh, right.
So
yeah.
I'd carry the
So
plates
skiing
out.
and shooting like James Bond or something.
No, like skeet shooter, like the
Oh,
sport.
skeet shooter.
I don't know. The dude was a bit goofy, but yeah, it was I knew him through like friend of a friend, and he was just giving me like $20 for the hour, just like, and it was pretty fun. But yeah, I just throw the plates in the air and you try and shoot it because he's trying to go in the Olympics. But yeah, it's kind of stupid.
And so when you were
He never
holding
made it.
all 4 plates at
Yeah.
the same time, were you throwing all 4 plates at the same time?
Oh no, I wasn't Spider-Man. I
Okay.
held them out to walk to the field and everything.
And they
then
did
I
leave
threw
your
it.
hand before he shot at them, right?
Oh yeah, no, I was
Okay.
throwing them in the air and he was shooting them, like the
Okay.
skate shooting sport.
And weren't you worried about the... Sorry, you said only one follow-up question, but I really have to press you
grill
on
him.
this.
Please grill
Weren't
him.
you worried that the shards would like come back, and hit you in the face or something? Or-
Oh no, because I'm throwing them from like out to a distance kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's shooting them from a distance, but yeah, it's just like the Olympic sport. But he never made it in the Olympics. He kind of sucked. I don't talk to him anymore.
Good on you for trusting your mate while he's shooting at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Convenient he didn't make it to the Olympics. We won't know a name there, will we? I used to work in hospitality, so carrying out plates full of food and stuff. I would take them out to tables and whatnot. I'd have 2 on each arm.
Oh,
and
yeah?
it wasn't the smartest thing to do because it's very hard to then get rid of one plate when you're holding 4. You'd usually just go for the 3. But
So would you just say to the restaurant patrons, like, could you please just take this off my arm? Or?
occasionally that would happen, yeah. But I'm very much a firm believer in not making 2 trips. So if I could avoid that, I would.
Yeah, right. And how many trips did you make while you were holding 4 plates and then,
Depends how many people were dining in that night.
Okay, all right.
To be honest, I think that seems too boring, Tom. Like, that just seems too obvious. You know what I mean?
You can ask him where he worked.
Yeah. Where did you work?
I worked at 2 hospitality joints. That was the Exeter and Loberthal Beer House.
And the Lexington and Loberthal.
Very convenient that the Exeter's right around the corner.
Yes.
It's like the first thing you'd think
And the
of
one
if
that
you
he
were
frequently
standing right
goes to
here.
for a pint.
Yeah, how come I never saw you at either of those? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Growing my hair out since.
Oh, okay.
Well, Chris, these two are lying because I have actually always been quite the performer. So back in the day, I went to a clown school.
Clown school. Okay.
And as part of my training, I had to do the routine where you're holding a bunch of plates and you basically stumble and fall. So I had to learn how to hold the plates before I was able to do that trick. But also on top of that, which they didn't mention, I can actually do plate spinning.
Plate spinning. Okay, I would have thought when you said that you went to clown school that maybe you were juggling the plates.
No.
Cool.
We're doing like I was like the butt of the joke clown.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Still are.
And
Well, I'll let that slide, mate.
and how much unicycling did they get you to do while you were holding those 4 plates?
Wasn't my forte. I left that up to Greg.
Okay, and did any of the clowns squirt water on you from a little flower? Or?
Yeah, of course. It's part of the routine.
Who's Greg? Sorry?
Greg's my mate. That's a clown,
Weird clown name.
Classic Greg, yeah. How can we forget?
Greg the clown. I think you're all lying. No.
Not us.
Look, I'm going to go with the skeet shooting because I feel like that to me sounds more. I can visualize in my head that the best. Yeah.
Well, Chris, I'll let you know now. That is incorrect. I was the one. I was telling the truth. He's a dirty little rat.
Little rat. You didn't catch me. I got the cheese and I've run.
Thanks so much for joining us this morning, Chris. For more information and a full list of current employment opportunities, get involved today. Visit cmax.com.au to view all the current trials taking place or freshjobs.com.au. You've been a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.